Good morning, good morning, good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me this morning. We are about to kick off a new teaching series, and I wanted to really dive into this because I think it's so important. And so, good morning to each and every one of you. We are live only on YouTube this week because there is some complications going on with Facebook and StreamYard. And so, we're going to do what we got to do, right? We're going to do what we got to do. So good morning to each and every one of you as you pop in here. Miss Cynthia, congratulations. We're so happy for you. You are doing it, lady. You are doing it. Hats off to you. Keep soaring. The best is yet to come. Chip, 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 chip. Keep getting better with age. Keep evolving. Keep embracing what God is doing in your life. I'm so happy for you. This morning, I want to shout out to all of you guys that's a part of the community to remind you, okay, every day should be a day where you have a plan for it and then you work towards bringing that plan to life. Okay, every day you should have a plan for, even if it's relaxation, that's the plan. Make some money. That's the plan. Take care of your health. That's the plan. Organize your home space. That's the plan. Take some time to evaluate and assess where you are, if that's the plan. But you should have a plan. Okay? You should have a plan. You don't want to just live. You don't want to just keep going by. Just not taking the opportunity to evolve appropriately, because every day, as I've said before, is a new day to begin again. Okay? Every day is an opportunity to begin again. So this week, I'm doing this teaching series that I've really felt led to lean into. And I'm hoping you guys will capture the vision behind this subject. I'm speaking on the title, Write Your Story. Yep, write your story. Write your story. Key word here is your story. Have you taken the time to establish how your story is going to be written? How your story is going to be written. This week, please know, when you write your story, there is this, the index where it talks about the different parts of your story, and you want to look at that. But you get to write your opening. And your opening, some of us, we had no control over our opening. Some of us have no control over some of the chapters within our stories, but it's a part of our story. So look at your chapters and accept them. That's just what they were. They're a part of your story. So look at your chapters, identify, I'm writing my story. Okay? My life is a story. I'm going to take the time to break it down in chapters. I'm going to take the time to break it down in chapters. But how will my story end? How will my story end? That's really the big kicker. And so I want you to lean in on the opportunity that you have to craft your story henceforth. Some of what was happening in your life in times past, you had no control over. But what you could do is, moving forward, you could tell yourself, I'm going to make sure these last chapters of my book is the best chapters of my book. How many of y'all capture that? I'm going to make sure these last chapters in my book becomes the best chapters in my book. And so that's going to take some intentional effort. Okay? That's going to take some intentional effort. It's not going to just happen. You've got to make up in your mind that in order for me to move forward, I have to remind myself that I have to write out the chapters of my story, and then I have to be prepared to do the work to bring those story lines in line with who I am. So this morning we're going to look at unveiling your legacy. Okay, unveiling your legacy. The question I have for you this morning is, how will you be remembered? How will you be remembered? How will you be remembered. I want you to think about that, because the truth is you will be remembered somehow. Somehow you're going to be remembered. Now the question is how will you be remembered? Will you do the work to make sure that how you are remembered is more towards how you want to be remembered? Well, some people say, well, I don't care. It's just, it doesn't matter. Well, the truth is there's a story about you, and you can control the narrative on deciding how you're going to write the story moving forward. There's a story about you. Don't get it twisted. There is a story about you. Now, if there's a story about you, the question is, how will you take advantage of the opportunity to change the narrative, to be the one to be responsible on how this story continues to play out? Okay? So, the power of writing your story. In this hustle and bustle world that we live in, we're just all over the place. People are all over the place. It is easy for us to overlook the significance of writing our own story. But if you take the time to write your story, it is a profound act of lasting impact that allows you to work through some things. Now, you're writing your story. I'm writing my story. We should be writing our story. So I want to leave you with three things this morning, okay? Three things this morning. Number one is reflection and healing. Reflection and healing. While you're writing your story, look for the opportunity to place chapters around the I took the time to reflect. I took the time to heal. Let me say it again. To have lived and not reflect is a mistake. To have lived and not heal also is a mistake. It's a bad deal. You want to learn how to reflect. You want to learn how to heal. Writing your story provides a platform for deep reflection. Miss Johnson, that's where I am right now. Angela, that's where I am. So when we're talking about writing your story, unveiling your legacy, how will you be remembered? A lot of people, Angela, they're flipping a coin, twisting their fingers and hoping that they end strong. They're hoping that they end strong, but you can do the work on a daily basis to, number one, make sure reflection and healing is a part of your story. You reflected. Reflection gives you the opportunity to learn from the past. Healing allows you to get rid of the hurt that had happened in your life, or the wrong that has happened in your life that really didn't make you feel good. Could have even damaged you a little bit, but you want to get that, okay? It allows you to revisit past experiences, okay, by confronting challenges, Linda, and celebrating triumphs on paper and embark on your journey of healing and self-discovery. This is where mastery comes from. Some people say, I want to live my best life. You're not going to live your best life if you haven't taken the time to have good, healthy reflection and good, healthy exposure of areas that needs healing. For married couples, you got to identify, okay, what of your past that needed to be left go? What previous hurt that you haven't been healed from? What haven't you not been healed from? So reflection is a part of your story. That's where you come up with the narrative. That's where you're now able to draw it down and establish, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to be remembered for. This is how I'm going to establish myself. Write your story. This week, I'm going to push that. Write your story. You're not living your parents' story. You're not living your childhood story anymore. You're not living the neighborhood story. Don't do that. Go ahead and identify, who am I? That your story should start there. Who am I? Have I asked myself the question? And that's where reflection, Angela, comes from. That's where healing comes from, because some of us are carrying wounds. Some of us are carrying pains. Some of us are feeling some things that literally ought to not be things we continue to feel because we have not addressed it at the core. Okay, so while establishing your story, number one, you remember reflection and healing is a part of the process. Number two, inspiration for others. Inspiration for others. While thinking about writing your story, remember, your story is not just yours alone, it has the potential to inspire others. It has the potential to inspire others. Sharing your struggles and your victories can offer significant guidance and hope for those facing similar path. Through your words, you become a beacon of life for others, now navigating their own journey, but learning from your story. So you have something to share. But a lot of people haven't taken the value of what they have to share seriously because they haven't taken the time to reflect, they haven't taken the time to heal, they haven't taken the time to appreciate. Appreciate themselves, reflect on where they are from whence they came, have not taken the time to identify the hurt, the things that you've gone through that you shouldn't be carrying still, but you're carrying it. Okay. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, we're talking about writing your story, unveiling your legacy. The power of writing your own story is threefold. Number one, it allows you to have reflection and healing. Number two, it provides inspiration for others. And three, which is my last, for watch it, preserving your legacy. Preserving your legacy. By documenting your story, you create a timeless legacy for future generation. People could say with confidence, man, I read her story. She wrote a story. She wrote her shit, man. She ended well. He ended well. So, how will you be remembered? How would you be remembered? Your words become a window into your life. It's providing people to see the memories, see the lessons, see the wisdom from whence you came. I'm thinking I'm 50 next year and I'm going to write the Ricardo Miller story. I'm going to do a documentary. I'm going to look back and I'm going to go from the pump in Washington Street and I'm going to hang out and go where my first job was, and I'm going to put it all in a book, and I'm going to look at the different chapters of my life, and I'm going to also put a spin on it to how I would like to be remembered. Okay, how I'd like to be remembered, and then I'm going to write out what I believe will be read of me on that day, when my last day of being celebrated or loved, at my funeral. I just believe that we need not take life so loosely that we're not navigating these parts the way that we want it to be. Stop keeping your fingers crossed, hoping that your life will be better. Write your story. Take care of your health, like your health, the health part of your story is going to be this part where you talk about the victory for having taken control of your life. We'll talk more about that this week, about your finances, about your social circles, about your environment. You are responsible for writing your own story. A lot of us read other people's story. Very few of us are appreciative of our own story. Don't make that mistake. Make sure you embrace the opportunity to write your story. And that's what I'm going to challenge you this week to do. Start writing your story. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. We're not on Facebook this week. We're on YouTube all this week. So join me, same time, same place, as we talk about writing our own story.